Okay, Bob, this is Dennis Clark, and I'm going to review your first day at the 3-day school program. It's February 10th, 2020. And before I go any further on your video, I want to point out that I need your wife's email. I only have yours. I believe this is yours. This is going to Manski. Manzski at AOL.com. I'm assuming that might be yours. So I'll need Mary Beth as well, please. Okay, so good day for you today. I think we did some good things, and this is the before effort, and I'm going to point out the things. The reason that we're doing these things is they have to be done for a couple reasons. If you, for example, we'll start with your grip. I am going to make that stronger, and that may be temporary. We don't know. But as long as you stand this close to the golf ball, you're never going to have room to swing consistently from the inside. You really have to back up a little, and especially when you're trying to get more room, to swing from the inside. You don't want to defeat your purpose by kind of crowding it. You'll need a little room in there, see, a little daylight. So if you stood, for example, back here, you'd have all this room between you and the ball, as I said before. So you're crowding the ball, and one of the reasons you're crowding it is because you have a steep over the top swing. So as we get the swing flatter and more from the inside, you're going to need more room, or you are going to shank the ball once in a while or hit it off the heel. So other than that, your setup is pretty good. Your posture is very good. And the seat is out here, and we fixed the grip. So you've got a good amount of bend at the hips there. And you're in a pretty good balanced position to begin your swing. Now what happens is that your swing, again, partly because you're so crowded, comes to the outside. It's already outside the golf ball. Okay, so we want to make sure that you can feel what inside actually is. See, that club never really gets inside your hands, and you want to feel that it gets in there much earlier. Now you notice that she's doing, her shoulders are turning pretty early, aren't they? And the club gets behind her. So if the shoulders don't turn, the club's going to stay outside the hands for a very long time. Okay, so we start with the right side turning away, and that forces the club inside. Now, when you take the club up without turn and your arms tend to lift it, the face gets open. So this is where your slice starts. This face is now open. It should be looking a little bit more up at the sky. Let me see if I can show you that. Like hers. Very much different. This is Connie Chen from the LPGA Tour. She's got a great golf swing. It looks like that, where we can see the entire face more or less pointed straight up, and yours looks that way. So a way of seeing open from closed might be this. And if I put a line down her club here, we can see the whole club face on this side of the line. If I put a line up your club here, yours is on the other side of the line. It's a clear sign of open. So on a 10 scale, it's probably like a 7 open. And that alone would be enough to slice it, okay, and bring you over the top to try to square it. So we really want to turn and flatten you out a little bit, get you further, give you more room to come down inside and get you on a flatter plane. It's a very upright swing, so when it comes down, then you can see how far out that really is. So the as many of these I've worked with, I've never seen anybody who stands too close to the golf ball not get out over the top. Standing close creates a pickup of the club, not a turn of the body. That puts it on a very vertical arc. The verticality of that opens the face and then forces you out here to try to square the face. So you're swinging as much this way as you can, and that's where your divots are coming from. As I said to you before, what I'd rather do, what I know helps in this case, is to strengthen the grip and learn to release the club. Now, without fixing the path, what that'll do then is it'll go this way, and instead of slicing back, it'll actually start to have this type of motion on it. Your ball's going to be pull draw or even pull hook. Then, as the swing gets flatter and gets more inside, we can neutralize that grip. But that's what has to happen. And this flat-footed stuff will eventually have to go too. That's another part of coming over the top. When you come over the top, you really can't go through the ball. Because if you do, you'll probably top it or miss it altogether. So we really want to get you feeling like it's flatter, turned more away and coming down a little bit more inside, a lot more inside, a lot more inside. So we're going to move that right hand over. Your ball position's pretty good. We're going to start it away feeling much flatter and much more behind you, so the shoulders want to turn. See, what happens here is the shoulders get turned, but they get turned a little bit late, and I'll show you a difference in the look of this when we get to where we want. We're going to change a little bit about your setup. Let me show you one here. Okay. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to, when we make this grip a little stronger, we're going to lower that right side so your shoulders are a little bit more on this pitch instead of that pitch, okay? Now, when Rory gets there, I want you to see he's got a tilt to his body, right? Now, when he gets to the top of his swing, because he swings around there correctly, he still has this tilt. That's a correct turn without a sway. So what happens in your case over here is we actually get tilted this way. And what's called a reverse pivot. It isn't really, it's a misnomer, it isn't really a pivot at all. It's a tilting or a rocking motion with your shoulders. You don't get your back to the target, and the arms get too vertical. So what we're going to do is get you on a much flatter feeling so you can actually feel what turning behind the golf ball feels like. That will give us ample opportunity to get inside on the downswing. Okay, so he's going to see he's going to start this with his lower body over here. And he really has his head and his upper body tilted behind that golf ball. Sign of a very good swing. And of course your release tends to be early because again from the outside you're trying to square this. And that's going to slow it down a little bit for you. And we have to get that left arm a little bent to get through it. So the whole thing is based on teaching you a proper turn, an inside path on your downswing, and a flatter plane, swing plane. And eventually we'll get this foot off the ground. I'd like to start getting into some of that tomorrow if we can actually get... Now, if you see where you end up here, that's not a bad turn, is it? That's a pretty good turn to finish your swing, all you had to do was get there a little bit earlier. Because if you look back here to the impact, it's a little bit flat-footed. Tilt there, go back there, and swing flat-footed. When if you watch Rory, as soon as he starts down here, the right knee and starts to kick in, the right heel starts to come up, and by the time he gets to the ball, his knees are touching. This is completely up in the air, and it's this shape. So yours is still here. So this all comes with time, and it all comes on the ability to be able to get the club down from the inside on a flatter plane. Now I'm going to go back to this plane issue for a second, because I'll show you what I mean here. So we move away. So we got the direction to work on, we know that. And I'm going to bring up a swing here for you that'll help you see a different look at it. So let's bring them down to about where you are. All right, you're both about halfway down there. The hands are under the right shoulder. The hands are under the left shoulder. The golf club's coming in there at about 70 degrees, and this club's coming in there at about 45 degrees. So once we can get you backed away from it, turned properly onto your right side, and the club flatter coming down, the face is going to control itself. Those are our big three things. Stronger grip, stand further, turn, don't tilt, turn, and then we're going to get you feeling like you're swinging much more sidearm at the golf ball from inside. Okay? That's going to be your work for the week. You already had some progress. We'll keep that grip until we have to. We'll add this turn through part when it's time, and then you should be ready. On your way to much better golf. So I mentioned to you about your wife's email, right? You can send that to me when you get this. And also tomorrow we have to square away for your school. And my accepted forms of payment are check, cash, or Venmo. Bank deposit, direct bank deposit. I don't accept credit cards. So let me know how you'd like to do that, and we'll do that tomorrow. But we'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay? Good job.